My mama tell me say she won't carry me go buy biscuits. Now so she carry me go one old mama house. The way the old mama cut me, Chai, I still dey imagine the pain as it weak me for body. My mama said na to make sure say I know they follow boys anyhow. I wonder how it take enter waka with boys matter. I wonder. Circumcision don't cause me plenty health palava, and I no go even wish my enemy pikin to suffer with I don't suffer. Chai.
My country people, circumcision no good at all. You know fit stop girl to dey follow man there. You know fit help woman to find pikin born. In short, inside the over 20 million Nigerian girls and women we don't suffer circumcision, many of them they also suffer health palava, plus including pain when they want menstruate, peace, born, or even when time reach to enjoy themselves with their man for other room, whether in a local place or for inside hospital. Circumcision they very bad and dangerous, and you no get anything good wey they do for body. Make we join hands stop circumcision today. Now Hacey Health Initiative through its Stop Cut project where they funded by United Nations Trust Fund to end violence against women. Bring una this message.
Good afternoon and welcome to Let's Talk FGM on Women Radio 91.7, Nigeria's only radio station for women and their families. My name is Somto Titilayo Ajama. Let's Talk FGM is an initiative of Hacey Health Initiative in partnership with Women Radio 91.7 and funded by the United Nations Trust Fund to end violence against women. Today on Let's Talk FGM, we're discussing religion and female genital mutilation. Religion and female genital mutilation. Female genital mutilation, also known as FGM, is the practice of cutting or mutilating parts of the female genitalia, and this is a common practice in our society as people engage in them most of the time for cultural, possibly religious, and many other different reasons. To discuss religion and female genital mutilation with me today is Reverend Anwo Aderemi, member of Oyo State Task Force, NAPTIP, and resource person. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us, Reverend Anwo.
Good afternoon.
Yes. To contribute on Let's Talk FGM today, you can call the number 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. You can also send in your text and WhatsApp messages to 0703 175 6537. Talk to us on whether you think religion has anything to do with female genital mutilation. Yes, this has been a long time topic, and today we're going to do justice to it. Today you will learn whether or not your religion has anything to do with female genital mutilation. Again, the number is 07000 917 917. Also, you can send in a text or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. All right. So, Reverend Anwo Aderemi, I want to ask you this because I literally just said this now in line of my introduction.
All right.
Is there any relationship between religion and FGM? And I know you're a Christian.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take it from the perspective of Christianity.
Yeah.
Is there any Christian religious basis for female genital mutilation?
Actually, I want to give God glory for a grace given unto me to be here this afternoon. Pertaining to my own religion, Christianity, there's nothing like that. That's no base in the Bible, neither in any doctrine of the Bible. So, Christian religion is a religion of peace. When you check through the Bible very well, even right from the Genesis, where we heard about circumcision for male, it's only for male only. That was in the Bible, in the book of Genesis 17. Go through verse 10 to 11 to 13. It talks about a covenant made by God with Abraham, our father, that in order to seal up the covenant, what they have to do is to do the kind of circumcisions for male child, not for women this time around, not for female this time around, for male child. Also, he extends the covenant to the slave, whether the one that was born in the house or the one that was bought with their money. They have to do the circumcision for them as well, not to be part of the covenant. Even though he hammered it at the end of the covenant that anybody that does not observe it, that is among the male child, not among the female child. Female were excluded from all this, were excluded from circumcision or whatever. So they were excluded. They were not count out of this mutilation. Are you getting it?
Yes.
So it's only affecting male child, not female child.
See, I'm very glad that you said that.
Yeah.
Because a number of people do this. A large number of people do it. And some people don't even know why they do it. Okay. Sometimes they do it because it was passed on to them from generation.
From one generation to the
exactly.
Other. Yeah.
So they do it believing that they're doing the right thing. When in reality, they are not doing the right thing.
Yes.
And then some of them would say, oh, we're doing it because my mothers did it, or we're doing it because we want to prevent the child from being promiscuous.
Yeah.
Now, in line with the fact that you just clearly stated, and I'm going to repeat what you just said, clearly stated that there's no relationship between Christianity and female circumcision or female genital mutilation, because the Bible clearly stated that this should be done for male child alone.
Yes.
Only the male child.
Only the male child.
So why then, Reverend Anwar, would you say that people of faith, people who believe in God, fellow Christians like you, are also now part of the people who practice female genital mutilation? I would love to hear your answer to this one.
Let me say it this way.
Okay.
I want to believe that the level of understanding is very low. Are you getting this? In this contemporary world we have now, I don't think somebody of a reasonable type should practice such. Because number one, even though you give birth today in the hospital, they are going to give you a kind of a lesson or lecture you that female should not be circumcised. I could remember when I gave birth to my first child, a daughter. Are you getting it? She's graduate now, a pharmacy graduate.
Oh, that's so amazing.
And they call us, we can't do these things. It's a girl. If it's a boy now, you can circumcise. I say, okay, leave it like that. Don't do it. By that time, I wasn't clearly understand it too much. But I know that since it is government order, that nobody should do that again. I want to believe everybody should accept that. Because Apostle Paul clear it in the book of Romans that any law that is being given out by government should be observed by Christians. So where come all those different type of ideas? I want to believe that a true Christian that is being pastored under a pastor that know what he's doing should be able to encourage and sensitize them that this thing is forbidden among the Christians. Since you cannot bring out the proof from the Bible, it's forbidden. Because it doesn't have any biblical proof that a male child should be circumcised, should be do all those sort of things, all those things. No, it's not. It doesn't have any biblical proof.
Thank you. Thank you very much for stating that and for linking it to pastors, people that Christians are under their shepherdry. Yes. So it's important that these people play a large role.
Exactly.
But before we get to that, you can only give what you have.
Oh, yes.
People can rephrase that and say you cannot give what you don't have.
Exactly.
I think that's the more popular one that people say.
Exactly.
You cannot give what you don't have.
Yes.
So you've rightly stated that initially you also didn't really understand
much.
Yes. Until you were told, all you were told was that, oh, this is a government order, and we're not supposed to circumcise your daughter. Yes, the female child. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was your understanding. You didn't know whether it was a good thing or a bad thing. All you really knew at that time was, oh, we were told not to do this, right?
Exactly.
So do you think that these religious leaders, being a Christian, do you think that these pastors, these bishops, do you think that they understand that FGM is really not supposed to be? This is something that... Do you think they know that it's wrong? And by wrong, I don't mean just in the context of wrong. Okay. Do you think they understand that it has health dangers, it has psychological dangers, and that it really doesn't prevent any kind of promiscuity? Do you think they really understand that?
I want to say there are some, at least a larger percentage understand. Most especially the learned one among the pastors.
Okay.
You can't see a learned one the way he operates his church and everything. It will be quite different from someone that is not learned. Are you getting it?
Of course.
If you are not well learned, there's no way you can pastor somebody in order to achieve their goals. What is in church is more than just let's pray. The kingdom of God is come. Before kingdom of God will come, a lot of things around it. Are you getting it? So that is why I will encourage a lot of so-called men of God to monitor their member very well and to go against all this what we are talking about. Even though immediately you gather them together, talk to them. It's forbidden because it's not stated in the Bible. Out of the Bible doctrine we have in the Bible, we cannot bring it out. There's no way we can find it in the Bible. Women were excluded. Violence and many other things were excluded. Are you getting it? So I will encourage pastors to learn more about this. Even the so-called unlearned type, I believe as time goes on, they will also understand that this thing is not good. Even though they do not understand, even though you cannot read and write, and your call is good. I know people are calling that way.
Yes.
But immediately you get to the hospital for any whatever reason or the other, maybe one of your members want to give birth in the hospital, or your wife as well, they will tell you in the hospital that this thing is not done for female child again. I believe in that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Reverend Anwo. You mentioned understanding that they should learn.
Yes.
You're encouraging them to learn to open their minds to understand that this is wrong.
Yes.
And you also said that it's not just about the kingdom of God is here or the kingdom of God will come. It's not just about that. I'm taking that to mean spiritual knowledge. So it's not just about biblical knowledge. It's not all about spiritual knowledge.
Yeah.
But would you agree that there are some people, there are some pastors, as you said, most learned pastors should know this. But you also said that there are some pastors that are not that learned, they're not that literate, but they have a strong sense of spiritual direction. And that's why they are pastors.
Yes.
So such people who do not have that exposure, who don't really know, would you say that that's an excuse? Would you say that that's some kind of defense for not being able to teach their flock the right thing because they don't know the right thing as well?
That should not be an excuse, though. Well, everybody have to search for knowledge. The Bible says knowledge is the principal thing. Therefore, seek knowledge. We have to seek knowledge. Whether you are learned before you are called, or you are not learned before you are called into the ministry, you have to seek knowledge. It's very important. We have many examples. There are many people that they were called ignorantly, maybe unlearned type. After they might have called, they have to upgrade themselves and go to school, all those things. So they will, they will buckle up and they meet up with the society. Are you getting it? Now, for example, I was called in my secondary school days. Are you getting it? I went to seminary. After finish, I worked with many churches. And I see that one day that, where I'm going, I don't think I'll be able to meet up. I have to go back to school. Even I have a brother then, he's late now, he was a lawyer. And I keep on telling me that, this boy, you are too young for this. Go back to school. He fought me every time. And you have to go back to school. And I decided that, okay, let me go back to school.
Okay.
I sat for GC, I passed the exam, I go back to school. I went to a College of Education. After that, I went to Obafemi University, OAU, where I finished with my BSc in economics. And with that one, I have a broader knowledge.
Yes.
So I can't be anywhere. Nobody will be able to handle me or
manipulate you, yes.
No, I know what I'm talking about. And I have knowledge of what I'm talking about. I want to encourage pastors, even though no matter the level of your spirituality this time around, seek this knowledge. Very, very important. It will help you go a longer way in life.
Thank you very much for that.
Yes.
This is still Let's Talk FGM, where we discuss everything concerning female genital mutilation. Let's Talk FGM on the program today. We're discussing religion and female genital mutilation. religion and female genital mutilation. My guest today is Reverend Anwo Aderemi, and we're talking together about religion and female genital mutilation. He's a member of Oyo State Task Force, NAPTIP, and a resource person. Now, like it or not, the subject of religion and female genital mutilation has come up in previous episodes, in previous programs on this station, on Let's Talk FGM. It has come up several times. And today we're doing more justice to that context of religion and how it ties in to female genital mutilation. Let's Talk FGM is an initiative of Hacey Health Initiative in partnership with Women Radio 91.7 and funded by the United Nations Trust Fund to end violence against women. If you want to call, if you want to contribute, if you want to talk to my guest or ask any questions, you can call in to 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. You can also send in your text or WhatsApp messages to 0703 175 6537. We're discussing religion and female genital mutilation. Now, another thing you rightly mentioned, Reverend Anwo, is that, okay, we have a call coming in. Let me take this call. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello. My name is Emmanuel.
Hello, Emmanuel. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, I really want to appreciate the minister that you invited. May God bless him.
Amen.
What I'm just trying to say about Pacific is now there is a difference between, if you check Peter, you understand that he was a very great man of God, but he wasn't as great as Paul, because why? Paul was knowledgeable than him, and that's why Paul was able to write more epistles than him. So I think it's right when he says pastor should speak more knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Please, where are you calling from? Okay, I believe that call has ended. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. That lens, he basically supports what you just said about seeking knowledge. And that factor, I really appreciated that you said that. But there was one thing I wanted to bring out, which is the learned ones. Okay. So we've spoken about the people who are very spiritually connected, exactly, but do not have a lot of literate knowledge. They don't have a lot of formal education. Exactly. Literacy is not their strong suit. Mm-hmm. So you've rightly said that they can seek knowledge, just try and find ways to improve themselves. But Reverend Anwo, there are also other pastors, other religious leaders. And since we're still talking about Christianity, I'm still saying pastors and bishops, other reverends. All right. So there are still other of these men of the cloth who are learned that should technically know better because they are informed. Not just from a religious point of view now. They've been abroad, they've seen other things, they are properly exposed as they should be, enough to teach their flock better, but they still practice female genital mutilation. Their children are circumcised. They know people who have children who have circumcised their children, but they don't tell them any differently. Why? Because mostly their reasons would be that, this is what they know to be correct. Would you say that there's a deeper link between that cultural factor when it comes to these men who are learning and should know better?
Okay. What I would say about that is that there are many of them that are learned that we're supposed to know. From the point of view, maybe thinking that they know the right thing. Okay. They know it right. They know it, but they do not do it. I'm getting it. Maybe due to one traditional factors, or due to one reason or the other. Because there are some members, when they were in the church doing the wrong thing, when they are supporting the church, supporting the ministry, it will be very difficult for some pastor to correct them. And this is not good.
Supporting the ministry with donations,
they donate with money.
Okay.
They
supporting charitable causes, all of that. All right.
But in order to correct them, put them in order, will be very difficult for them. Maybe if they correct them, they may be hungry not to do all those things again. Why are you doing that? No, I don't need to look at their money. I have to face the work that God committed onto my hands. Are you getting it? I have to face that work. The life of people are very important to me than looking for the money from them. I always tell people, in fact, I met a guy, he told me that he is called into the ministry. Okay, I say it's good that you are called. But which work are you doing now presently? He said, I want to go to the full-time. Okay, go to full-time. If you are going for full-time, make sure you work with one church or the other. But if you want to establish a church, you have a call to establish a church, go and find work to do. Go and find work to do. Get what you can do to earn money. Are you getting it? So that you'll be able to speak the truth. That is what is happening, affecting some people like that. They know the right thing they're supposed to do, but they refuse to do it. They were exposed. Some of them travel wide.
Yes.
But they would not want to speak the truth because of what they were getting from those members. They don't want the member to leave their church. No, I'm not concerned about that. If you are doing the wrong thing, it's a sin to God. If you are leading the flock astray, you will be accountable for them. You have to do the right thing. I will encourage all those who are in that shoe, they should do the right thing. They should do the needful. Do the right thing. Encourage them. Tell them the truth. If you don't tell them, they will hear it elsewhere. And at the same time, at the end of the day, if they hear the truth elsewhere, they will be blaming you as a pastor that, our pastor did not tell us this thing. Our this thing did not tell us this thing. So it's better to speak up the truth.
Thank
and
you
make
very
the
much.
society to be okay.
In line with what you just said about speaking the truth and making the society okay,
Yeah.
some of these pastors still, even with their knowledge, they still believe that the real reason for female circumcision or female genital mutilation is to curb promiscuity of the female child, to keep her from being sexually loose, or to keep her from being too open to advances from men, or too open to accepting advances from men or from people of the opposite sex. Because depending on your age, I mean, why would you say somebody of 2 years old or 5 years old will be sexually promiscuous? Or you're just trying to say that, oh, maybe when they get older, you're trying to curb it now from when they're young to prevent that when they get older. And I link it to this because female genital mutilation is done at different ages, depending on culture, depending on location, depending on various factors, actually. So some people do it when the child is 2, some people do it when they're older, some people do it when they're 18. And it doesn't take away from the fact that there's pain regardless at any of these points. And it also affects them. It affects their health, it affects their psyche, and it has all these other different implications and consequences as they grow older. So do you think that some of these men just honestly think, they genuinely believe in that age-long belief that it helps to curb promiscuity? So maybe they know it's wrong, but that is still what they believe. And maybe because they don't want their children or members of people or children of members that they know to end up being promiscuous, that's why they allow it.
Okay. I want to believe it is one of the taboo we believe in those days. Do this thing, this will happen. Do this thing, this will happen. Now, people believe that when a female child was born, when you refuse to do the circumcision or the genital mutilation or whatever, it will the rate of sexuality of that female child will be high. I want to believe it's never that way, because why are you parents? Forget about paying pastors. Why are you parents? You are a parent in order to guide the children. You guide them. You have a baby girl, right from the childhood, begin to teach her ways of life. Do this thing, do this thing, do this thing, all those things. It will know when you apply all those knowledge and you give it to her, I believe she will not desist from it. You know the consequence of going about with men. You know, when you are at a younger age, you begin to go around with boys or all these men, they will just spoil their life. By God's grace, in my school, I'm a teacher. I teach in Osun State. Okay. Civil servants. Are you getting it?
Okay.
I used to call girls, talk to them. Even what their parents cannot talk, what their parents cannot say, I have to advise them. Now, if I enter the class, I need to see their countenance and all those things, where they play rough and all those, I will have to call them, look here, you girls, you have your life is so important, even than these men. Oh. Are you getting it? If you allow them to spoil your life now, you may not make it in life again. But these boys, leave them alone. They want to suffer, let them suffer. If they suffer, they can go back again. They still have another chance. But you don't have chance. If you begin to teach them all those things, this moral lesson, it will help them. Are you getting it? It will help them a lot. Than keeping all what our parents has been doing from the past, pass it to the children in the future. And I say, okay, let's do the circumcision for them so that they will not be going to flirt all about all these things. No. Because it endanger them. We've known the effect, of this female genital mutilation. We've known the effect. The effect is so wide. If you go Google it, read it, you see a lot of things there. The effect is bad. But when you leave them the way God created them, if it is very important for us, if God wants us to engage them with this kind of circumcision or mutilation, I believe it will be stated in the Bible. But God personally exclude them, that it should be restricted to men only, not to female. So definitely we can't go beyond what the Bible gives to us, the doctrine in the Bible. If you do that, it means you are going against the doctrine of the Bible. I think I made myself clear.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, Reverend Anwar. Absolutely. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. This is still Let's Talk FGM. Let's Talk FGM is where we discuss everything relating to female genital mutilation. Let's Talk FGM is an initiative of Hacey Health Initiative in partnership with Women Radio 91.7 and funded by the United Nations Trust Fund to end violence against women. Today on Let's Talk FGM, we're discussing religion and female genital mutilation. Religion and female genital mutilation. You can call in to 07000 917 917. What are your questions? Do you think that female genital mutilation is permissible by your religion? Tell us what your thoughts are on that. Tell us what your thoughts are by calling in to 07000 917 917. And you can also send in a text or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. Do you think female genital mutilation is permissible by your religion? I can rephrase that to be, do you think your religion allows female genital mutilation? What are your thoughts about your religion and female genital mutilation? So, yes, call us or text us and let's discuss this. My guest today is Reverend Anwar Aderemi, member of Oyo State Task Force NAPTIP and resource person. To a large extent, Reverend Anwar, you've talked about how a lot of pastors should know better, and how a lot of pastors should speak out when they know better.
Yes.
They shouldn't let offerings or money...
whatever they will give to them, take the truth from them.
Exactly. That's exactly how you put it. They shouldn't let all of that take the truth from them. But now, okay, we have a call coming in. I'm about to ask you another question.
All right.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, no. Now well done, no.
Thank you very much. What's in your name? Where did they come from?
Rita from Arico.
Rita, thank you for calling.
Okay, so what are the talks? So whether our religion support FGM? I believe I'm a Christian, and I believe my religion not support FGM. But the thing is, I never really hear whether they push them for church or whether they add them to church discussion, say this thing bad. I still say they're not the talk and real for church, really. And I don't really remember when or where I say for any church or say, this thing bad. They're not the talk and wish. And what me I feel. They need to increase whether they talk and you to make people understand more about them for even our churches. And I get to church.
Thank you very much. Rita, this point say you make now, I want direct and give Reverend Anwar. You go help us dissect that matter, explain where it give you. Thank you very much, Rita. So, Reverend Anwar, I literally was about to ask you the same question. So you spoke about this earlier. You touched on it when you said you feel that pastors should speak more about this to let their flock know, to let the congregation know that this is something that is not right. But as Rita has spoken, and to a large extent, she's right. So some people know about this. Some learned people know that, female genital mutilation is not right. There's no benefit of female genital mutilation to the child, to the young girl. No single benefits whatsoever. So what's the point? There's no point. But Rita is saying she never hear for anywhere, for any church, where they talk, say, pastor stand up on top pulpit. They talk and with full chest, say, make una know they do this thing. I don't hear say get some people where they do it. But if they do it, stop now. She never hear that kind of thing before. And if I'm being honest, I actually have never heard any pastor say that before.
You are right.
So how do we get more people? How do we get more pastors? Since we're talking to you and you're a Christian, how do we get more pastors to inculcate this into their scriptures, into their sermons? I think not scriptures, into their sermons, to preach to their people, their congregation, to really tell them the truth about this, about female genital mutilation, why it is wrong, and specifically tell them to desist from this act.
It means we have a lot of work to do. We, religious leader, we have a lot of work to do, because there are many things we think that our member know, but they didn't know. Many pastors believe that they must have known that. Many pastors believe that there's no need, Jari, but it's very, very important. The welfare of our member is supposed to be the greatest something in our heart, at the highest degree in our hearts. So we have to sensitize them. Let the pastor talk to the members, talk to the people. Even though you don't take it as a sermon, during the announcement, may put it, pass it across.
But Reverend,
let them know.
Why shouldn't it be inculcated into the sermon? I mean, this might not be. It might not be something that they talk about every day.
Not every day.
You know, it might not. Yes, it might not be something that they talk about every day. But when there are family occasions, like harvest, like all those family, yes. So there are other occasions. A lot of churches have those kinds of occasions.
I would advise that maybe once in a month, pastors will inculcate this thing to their program. Let them sensitize their member. Let them know that this thing is not good. Because by the time most of them will give birth in the hospital, you may not just go there and pray for them. You leave the place without even ask. Because when you have already taught them and teach them in the church, they will know the right thing.
And you won't need to. You won't even need to ask them that. Don't make sure you don't do this. So
make sure you don't circumcise your male child, female child. You don't need to do that again. So we have to do that. We have to put that into action now. We religious, I will advise them to put it into their plan and to their program.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
It's also very important that we note that, irrespective of talking about it, they need to also preach that it's a crime as well. You mentioned this earlier when you were saying that this is something that you heard at the hospital, that it's a government order. It's a government order. It's a government order backed by law.
Exactly.
Because it is a crime. So when pastors are talking about it, they shouldn't just talk about it from the perspective of it being something that is wrong.
Yes.
Don't just do this because it's wrong. It will harm the female child.
Now.
Exactly. They need to emphasize that part.
Anything that will affect the female, they have to talk about it to the member. Let them know that this thing is forbidden. It's not good. In fact, I've been hearing, Google it, I see a lot of comments, see a lot of people talking about it. In fact, it has been since some years back now. So I want to advise the pastors to put that one into their program. Let them sensitize their member and talk to them. Let them know the right thing. This thing is forbidden as from today. Though it may not put that in the scripture, but we have to know that it is not supported by the scripture as well. That is to circumcise female child. So the same thing applicable. So anything that is not doctrinal in the Bible, you have to desist from it. So let people know that the word are kicking against it now. They have to let their member know, talk to your member, let them know. Because many member doesn't know anything about this. Unless when you have somebody that wants to give birth and go to the hospital and go and be, when you were fortunate, meet a matron or whatever knows that know about this and begin to let them know this thing. So they have to let the member know, talk to member, so that member will know the right thing from the wrong thing. So even your body also will it's a kind of relief to the pastors in the church. For example now, for some member that are ignorantly do all those things, go for the circumcision of a girl or this mutilation. Now, if accidentally anything happened to that child, you will now be called, my pastor, something is wrong with my baby. You don't know that you have already had to their problem because you don't tell them the real truth. Put them at the right side. So if they are contacted with one infection or the other, may now be forced to go and be praying. And it's not a matter of prayer.
At that time.
Not everything will be praying. Solve the problem now in order to save yourself from all those unnecessary efforts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Reverend Anwar. This is still Let's Talk FGM on Women Radio 91.7.
Mama Dora, bring Dora, come on. Papa Dada, don't come circumcise her.
You want circumcise your pikin? This generation where everybody don't know say circumcision no good at all. Now you want destroy your pikin life. Papa Dora, you don't know say person wey pay somebody to do circumcision. And person wey do the circumcision, now all of them go prison wey fit reach like 4 years, and then fit still even pay 200,000. If you give person ordinary advice, say make dem do circumcision, you go fit go prison for like 2 years and still pay like 100,000 fine money. In short, when my phone make I call this law enforcement agents to go arrest you, wetin dey do no good.
We no circumcise Dora again. Papa Dada, carry your yama knife come on my house. Or myself go report you.
Circumcision no good at all, as e dey cause plenty health palava for girls' body. My people, if you hear or see person wey wan circumcise any girl, sharply go to law enforcement person near you, or make you call 0812 467 0069. Female circumcision no good. Make we join hands stop am.
Na Hacey Health Initiative through im Stop Court project wey dey funded by United Nations Trust Fund to End Violence Against Women bring una this message.
Yes, this is still Let's Talk FGM on Women Radio 91.7. And Let's Talk FGM is an initiative of Hacey Health Initiative in partnership with Women Radio 91.7 and funded by the United Nations Trust Fund to End Violence Against Women. Today on Let's Talk FGM, we're discussing religion and female genital mutilation. If you're just joining us, you're very welcome. My name is Somto Titilayo Ajama. Thank you very much for joining us, and you can call in to 07000 917 917. That's the number to call. 07000 917 917. You can also send in your text or WhatsApp messages to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. Discussing female genital mutilation in line with religion is the focus of conversation today, and I'm joined by Sheikh Abdurrashid Saeed Baham, cleric at Ibadan Central Mosque. Thank you very much for joining us today. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on Let's Talk FGM.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you very much again for joining us. We've been talking about religion and female genital mutilation, and we've been focusing on the Christian perspective of things because we only had Reverend Anwar Aderemi here with us. But now that you have joined, the first question I'd like to know, because we would like to balance the conversation, since Christianity and Islam are the two major religions in Nigeria. So I would like to get your perspective on if there is any relationship between Islam and female genital mutilation. Is there any religious basis? Is there any Islamic basis for female genital mutilation?
Thank you so much. Imam Abdurrashid Saeed Baraham from Ibadan. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Let me quickly define the SGM before going to the main views of the Islamic scholars. Female genital mutilation comprises all procedures involving partial and total removal of the extra female genitalia or other injury to the female genital organs for non-medical reasons. So, after this, there is a divergent opinion among the Islamic scholars on FGM, that is female genital mutilation or circumcision. Islam and female genital mutilation. There is ongoing controversy as to whether female genital mutilation again is religious or cultural practice. One side of the debate has having activists who make goal is a crusade against FGM, which they view as a form of child abuse. On the other hand, are traditionalists who have assigned to religious belief in cultural practice involving barbarous and sometimes fatal forms of female genital mutilation. In order to determine where Islamic belief stands as far as FGM is concerned, we have to search the Quran and read the Sunnah, which is the hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, actions and chastity. I mean, what Sunnah means is that the belief of the word, actions and tacit approval of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and his craft and the main Islamic schools of jurisprudence differ in the interpretations of the teachings and provisions of Islamic law and guiding regarding FGM. One of them is Shafi'i School of Islamic thought considers FGM, that is female genital mutilation, to be obligatory, while the Ambali, Maliki, and Hanafi School of Islamic law consider FGM to be recommended or preferred.
Okay.
Although religious things have influenced the practice of FGM, it is the practice that precedes Islam. So, to categorize FGM as an Islamic practice is incorrect. Have you get my point?
I'm following.
But makes no reference to FGM. There is no agreement on a clear court ruling. There is no reference to analogy that can be made. As for the Sunnah, that is the practice of the Prophet, there is doubt as to the credibility of some of the hadiths attributed to the Prophet Muhammad in this regard. The truth is, there is no proof of the authenticity of these narratives that can be used as the basis for a legal ruling on such a remorseless and fatal practice. Scholars cannot base their argument on narratives that cannot be traced to an authentic source, since a valid argument can only be based on authenticity. Although there is no mention of FGM in the Quran, the hadith conveys a discussion between Prophet Muhammad and a woman who was Habiba in the city of Medina, who was known for being a practitioner of FGM. Having seen her, Prophet Muhammad asked her if she kept practicing FGM. She answered yes, adding, unless it is forbidden and you order me to stop doing it. Prophet Muhammad replied, yes, it is allowed. Come closer so I can teach you. If you cut, do not overdo it, because it brings more radiance to the face and it's more pleasant for the husband. More clearly, use this hadith to support that FGM is recommended but not obligatory. Are you getting my point?
Yes. Let me make sure that I understand what you're saying, because I need to make sure that we're on the same page, and not just for my benefit, but for the benefit of our listener as well.
Okay.
So you're saying that there's some parts of the Quran that say that there's some religious aspects of Islam that believe that FGM is recommended but not necessarily preferred, not necessarily the best way to go. And there's some parts that completely say, do not do this.
Yes.
Okay. I needed to clarify that. Thank you very much, Imam Abdurrashid. Thank you very much for that. And just like I was talking to Reverend Anwo Aderemi here, I was asking about religious leaders and whether he thinks that they know enough about FGM to be able to tell their congregation, their flock, their followers that FGM is wrong. He answered me, and I would like your response as well. Do you think enough imams, enough clerics know about the harm that comes with FGM, the medical harm, psychological harm that comes along with FGM? Do you think they're exposed enough, educated enough to teach their followers better? Hello, are you there?
Hello?
Please, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I was asking if you think that there are enough imams and clerics that teach their followers not to go into FGM because they know better. Do you think there are enough imams and clerics out there that are exposed enough to know that FGM is wrong and teach their followers the same thing, not to indulge in FGM?
Yes.
Can you hear me, Imam?
From what I've been seeing before,
Okay.
among the 4 Islamic scholars, 1 or 3 of them support the FGM, while 1 did not support. So, principle of Islam interprets the intention of Prophet differently. Those who claim that FGM is an act of Sunnah support their view with the hadith related by Hacey and Ahmad, that circumcision is an act of Sunnah for men and an honorable act for women, because the Prophet was himself circumcised when he was born. So that is why they said it is act for men and honorable act for women. An argument that applicates the Islamic legitimacy of FGM is based on the fact that there is no evidence or indication which shows that the Prophet asked any of his wives or daughters caught. As FGM be among Islam commands and guidelines, the Prophet would have been the first to implement the law and carry out the practice on his wives and daughters. Are you getting my point? Yes.
All right. Well, I'm still understanding that 3 schools of thought believe that FGM is right and it's honorable for the woman. But you also say that there is nowhere that specifically says that it's right and that the, Muslims should go ahead and do this. I need to be clear that that's what you're saying.
Come again.
Okay, so I'm saying that you're saying that there are 3 schools of thought in the Quran, 3 religious scholars out of 4.
Not in the Quran. With their views, the Quran does not say anything on that FGM. It is from the Sunnah.
Okay, so 3 out of 4. Okay. So you're saying that irrespective of these 3 schools of thought that believe that FGM is recommended and it's honorable for the woman, it still doesn't say anywhere in the Quran that that's the way to go.
It is not said anywhere from the Quran.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that clarification.
Thank you.
So as we round off, because we're rounding off very soon, we're already pressed for time, I would like to ask you, Imam Abdul Rashid, what the role of imams are, imams and religious clerics in Islam. What is their role when it comes to ending FGM, speaking up against female genital mutilation and teaching their flock, teaching their followers to know better? What is the role of these religious leaders when it comes to ending and speaking out against female genital mutilation?
I can't hear you very well.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. I was asking, what is the role of imams and Muslim religious clerics? Let me rephrase that. What is the role of imams and Muslim religious clerics in ending and speaking out against female genital mutilations, particularly before their followers?
Oh, I can't hear you very well.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, no. Okay.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes. One of the rules of Islam is that the precepts of Islam ensure a woman's right to a successful and gratifying marital relationship. And also, the They call for the respect of the sexual relationship between a husband and wife, and emphasizing that each party has a right to a happy relationship. Therefore, it will not go well for one party to gain satisfaction while the second party will not. One of the principles of Islam is that it considers the human being's disposition towards sexual enjoyment and have associated sexual command to a matter of human nature. The role of religion is not to combat or receive the deep instinct, but instead to administer it in such a way as to ensure it remains within the framework of what is permissible and moral. Many customs and traditions are done to us do not reflect a woman's feelings. As a matter of fact, they intentionally oppress and frustrate her. Islam conclusively rejects all social beliefs that drive families to cut their daughters. Individuals who claim that women are void of mind and will, or that their Lord is many times stronger than that of men, have no science evidence or reason that supports the claim, which constitutes a clear violation of the principles of Islam. A female is equal to a male in that she has feelings and desires, the ability to reason, and a conscience which can guide her towards observing religious precepts and respecting her body and chastity, thereby ensuring her righteousness.
Okay.
Some of the views that the FGM is an approach by which a female defense can be disciplined.
Okay, let me ask you this question.
Okay.
Is this a religious reason or is this a cultural reason? And is Islam in agreement with this reason?
This is a religious reason, and Islam agrees with it.
So you're saying that though it's not clearly stated in the Quran that...
Yes, of course.
Yes, though it's not clearly stated that some schools of thought, some belief systems in Islam are actually in agreement with FGM, and they think it's honorable and they think it's a way of curbing sexual promiscuity of the female child?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
That is not backed up by facts. That is actually why we're here today. That is the basis of this entire program, to negate that fact, because that is actually not true. It doesn't actually curb sexual promiscuity. It doesn't actually change anything, and it's not beneficial for the female child in any way. So do you think enough clerics know about this and will preach the message of ending FGM to their followers?
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Do you think that enough Islamic clerics know that female genital mutilation is not beneficial to the female child and it actually does not curb sexual promiscuity? Do you think they know this?
Yes, of course. If it's not beneficial to the female, to the woman.
And it does not curb sexual promiscuity?
What?
And it does not curb sexual promiscuity. It doesn't do that. Female genital mutilation is not any form of discipline, and it actually does not curb sexual promiscuity. Do you think this is something that they preach enough to to fellow Muslims?
Yes, of course. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. It's like Imam Abdul Rashid. Thank you very much for joining us today on Let's Talk FGM.
Thank you so much.
Please enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Reverend Anwar, I'm going to end with you. I'm going to wrap up the show with you. And the truth of the matter is different strokes for different folks. That's what most people will say. But when it comes to female genital mutilation, there has to be that resolution between all forms of religions that clearly states that female genital is an abuse of human rights. It's wrong. It's not beneficial. It's not medically beneficial. It's not psychologically beneficial. And it is not... And it's not a form of discipline, and it does not really curb sexual promiscuity. So in line with that, what would you say is the role of religious leaders, for Christians, for pastors? What would you say is their role specifically as we round off?
Yeah, thank you. Once again, I would like to advise the pastor and the religious leader, most especially in the Christendom, that there's circumcision or no circumcision in the New Testament. When you check Colossians 2 verse 11, it talks about circumcision of heart. Circumcision of heart, that is all the evil ways and all these ways of life that are not acceptable to God, one just have to do away with it. That is what New Testament is talking about. Because the traces of circumcision, we first of all see it in the Old Testament. Whereby in the New Testament now back it up with the circumcision of heart. That is, your heart will be renewed. Once your heart is renewed, you don't need all those things. So definitely this will help a lot of people.
All right.
In order to stop all those things. For example, like the Holden believe that, okay, if the women are not circumcised, they will be flirting all around all those things. Once you are circumcised in the heart, you know the right thing. You won't do the wrong thing.
Thank you very much.
I would advise the religious leader to abide by all this and teach their member the right thing. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Reverend Anwar. Thank you very much for joining us on Let's Talk FGM today. Let's join hands to stop female genital mutilation. And if you would like to report cases of female genital mutilation, call 0812 467 0069. 0812 467 0069. Get more information on stopcut.hacey.org. Stopcut.hacey.org. Let's Talk Female Genital Mutilation is an initiative of Hacey Health Initiative in partnership with Women Radio 91.7 and funded by the United Nations Trust Fund to End Violence Against Women. Thank you very much to the producer Adenike Quadri and engineers on duty. My name is Sumto Titilayo Ajama. Good afternoon.
Àṣàkẹ́ yé sunkún lè wọ́n pẹ́ ṣe bí ìyá àgbà onígi ló fẹ́ dábẹ́ fún wọn.
mi ò fẹ́ dábẹ́ fọ́mọ mi. ará àdúgbò Ẹ̀gbá wá wọ́n fẹ́ dábẹ́ fọ́mọ Ẹ̀gbá wá o. àwọn ọmọ fọyín ló fẹ́ dábẹ́ f'Àṣàkẹ́ o. ìyá àgbà onígi gan ni wọ́n sì pè pé kó wá dábẹ́ fún.
ṣé bí ìjọba ti ní ohun tó léwu ni èèwọ̀ sí ní láti máa dábẹ́ fún ọmọbìnrin.
ṣé bí nǹkan tí wọ́n fi yán bàbá Bọ́lá lọ sí ẹ̀wọ̀n ọdún mẹ́rin nígbà ọ̀nà. ẹ wò ó ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ jáwọ́ nínú gbogbo dídábẹ́ tẹ fẹ́ àwọn lè ìpè ọlọ́pàá sí yín.
àbí sí ẹ ti fẹ́ kọ́mọ yín kú. àwọn ọmọ pé ohun tó léwu ni. àwọn òwe ọ̀làjú ló fẹ́ ba àṣà àti ìṣe wa jẹ́. lọ́yà ẹja lọ lé àdábẹ́ mọ́ o. ìyá àgbà onígi ń kọ́.
ẹjẹ́ tètè lọ tẹ̀ mọ́ wọn létí lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí pé dídábẹ́ fọ́mọbìnrin nǹkan tí ò dáa ni kí wọ́n lè pátí bíbẹ̀ kọ́ á padà fẹ́ tọ́ wọn sùn ni. ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa dídábẹ́ fọ́mọbìnrin ò dára rárá ó sì kún fún ewu. bí ẹ bá mọ ẹnikẹ́ni tó ń gbèrò láti dábẹ́ fọ́mọbìnrin ẹ lọ sọ fáwọn agbófinró tó bá súnmọ́ yín tàbí kẹ́ ẹ pè nọ́mbà 0812 467 0069. ẹ jẹ́ ká sowọ́pọ̀ láti dẹ́kun ìdábẹ́ ọmọbìnrin.
ìkéde yìí wá láti iléeṣẹ́ AC Health Initiative pẹ̀lú àtìlẹ́yìn àjọ àgbáyé United Nations Trust